John, you know it's a miracle that you're alive.
I do know it's a miracle. I cannot believe it, and I cannot explain why I'm alive, other than God was taking care of me.
Has all of this started to sink in?
Oh, I don't know if it's ever going to really sink in. I'm obviously aware of what happened. I'm thankful to be alive. The horror of it is still with me, and I think it's going to be with me for a long time.
Walk me through what happened when you first heard Cookie.
I was looking down because we were just starting a public hearing, and I was entering exhibits into the record. So I didn't see him enter the council chambers. I heard his voice, and I looked up, and he was to my left. He was standing a foot or two away from Officer Tom Ballman, who was sitting in a chair up against the wall. He had a placard in his hand, and I didn't see what it said or anything, because when I looked up, he immediately dropped his placard. I saw he had two guns in his hand. He was shouting something. I didn't understand what he was saying, and he immediately shot Officer Ballman. I then ducked underneath the DS, and I remember Art McDonald ducking underneath the DS, Tim Griffin. I heard other shots, did not see what happened. I then saw Mayor Swoboda walk behind me and go from my left to my right, and I heard a shot. I saw him fall. I saw that he was bleeding from the head. I then heard additional shots to my right, and they sounded very close. And I believed he was just going down the Diaz and shooting people. And I believed that he was coming after me. So I got up and I ran. And I ran to my left and then was heading towards the front door. And I looked out and saw in my peripheral vision that he was coming towards the front door as well, chasing after me. And we got about 2/3 of the way towards the end of the council chambers, towards the door, and he was about 4 feet away from me, stopping my passage to the door with both guns aimed right at me. So I picked up a chair and I threw it at him, and I was lucky enough where it hit him and the guns moved to his right, away from me. So I then took a couple steps closer towards him and picked up another chair and hit him with it as hard as I could. I then threw a third chair at him as I started to go back the way I came, thinking that I would go back out a back door. And I saw that door was closed. I don't know if it was locked. I didn't know if I'd have time to open a door. And I remember stepping over Ken Yost's body. So I then went to my left, thinking there was another door over there, and I looked behind me, and Cookie Thornton was chasing me, and I saw him trip and fall over Ken Yost's body. When I saw him go down, I thought, well, I got a better chance, so I then went back towards the front of the council chambers and out the door. As I hit the steps, 2 officers were coming up the steps. They were literally at the top of the steps when I was taking my first step onto the steps. Went down the steps, out the door, and heard additional gunfire. And based on what I now know, I know they shot Cookie Thornton.
Walk through with us, yeah.
I was sitting here. As you can see, Mayor Swoboda was there. Councilmember McDonald was here. When I saw Cookie Thornton, he was standing right there. Officer Ballman was right there. He was only about a foot. That's when he dropped his placard and immediately shot Officer Ballman. I then went underneath the DS. I heard shots, then I saw Mayor Swoboda walking this way, and I saw him fall, and I saw him bleeding from the head when he was laying right there. I then later on heard shots over this way, which would have been again to my right, and they sounded like they were getting closer to me, so I got up and ran this way. Ken Yost's body was right there. Tom Ballman's body was still in the chair. Ran here, hoping to get to the door. When I got to about here, Cookie Thornton had come from here and was right there. And that's where I threw the chair at him, then hit him with the chair, and then threw another chair at him. And then I ran back this way, throwing chairs behind me as I went, hoping to block him, hoping that I was going to go through a doorway that was here. That's the door that appeared to be closed. So then I started going this way, thinking I might head for that door. And that's when I looked back, when I was about here, I looked back and I saw that he had stumbled and fallen over Ken Yost's body, I believe. So then I decided to go this way out the front door. The steps were right here. After I got out the door, the police officers were coming up the steps